This is a genetic cancer tutorial presented by the SchrDbb with reference ABC of Clinical Genetics by Helen Kingston. So, the genetics of cancer. So, in genetics of cancer tutorial, here we're going to see the different genes which are involved with tumorigenesis or the development of cancer or different tumors. Okay. So this is a developed form of writing a pedigree. So this is another form of writing pedigree. So in order to engulf different family relationships. So like this is a first degree family relationship, second degree family relationship, third degree family relationship, fourth and fifth degree family relationship. So these are autosomal dominant inheritance ovarian cancer method. So I'm not going to speak about all the introduction and that, but you need to know that there are certain cancers which are inherited by genetic method. Though cancers, the method of inheritance of cancers by genetic method is can be only up to 5%, 5 to 10%. Most of the cancer is because of the environmental factors. You cannot develop a cancer even though you have a gene. You may not develop a cancer if you have not been exposed to the product that may result to the cancer. Is it clear? So that's why environmental factors with cancers have a very great proportion. Now, mechanisms of tumorigenesis. Now, in the mechanism of tumorigenesis, you need to know that there are three main classes of genes, that are affected in mechanism of tumorigenesis. Three main classes of genes known to cause that. Is it clear? So the three main classes of genes known to predispose malignancy or oncogene. You have the first one, you have tumor suppression gene. The second one, you have oncogene, and the third one with gene involved with DNA mismatch and repair. Is it clear? So those are the three main cases. You have oncogenes, you have tumor suppression genes, and you have DNA mismatch and repair. So genes involved with DNA mismatch and repair. Now we start with oncogenes. Oncogenes are the genes that can cause malignancy transformation in normal cells. So all the cells have oncogenes. Is it clear? All cells have oncogenes, and the oncogenes cause malignant transformation of cells. Is it clear? So they were first recognized by viral oncogenes in RNA viruses, because viruses may result to that malignant transformation of cells. Is it clear? They were first identified as viral oncogenes, so they convert cells such that they become malignant. That's the only thing that you have to note on oncogene, the major important thing. Now, tumor suppressor genes. The tumor suppression genes normally act to inhibit cells from proliferating or stopping cell division at certain phase. So we need to know that there are different cell lines. When a cell line has already grown for a very long period of time, you need to know that the telomere is cutting. Is it clear? As the cells proliferate in this particular cycle, telomeres cut until it reaches a point where it's no more going to be separating again. That particular cell line is not going to separate again, and then you're going to have because of the tumor suppressor gene, and the cell is going to die by apoptosis. Is it clear? So that is to prevent excessive growth of cells. Even if a cell became malignant with oncogenes, tumor suppressor genes, now when the cells have gone with multiple number of separations, that cell line is going to stop after a certain cycle because of the tumor suppression gene. Is it clear? Now, another mechanism now is going to be failure of the repair of the damaged DNA. Is it clear? So when you have failure of the repair of damaged DNA, it can also, because usually damaged DNA is repaired when there is a problem on damaged DNA is repaired, But if there is the failure of that repair, you can have different codons, multiple codons that can be produced on the damaged DNA, which can produce an oncogene, and that can be resulting to a malignancy. So those are the three main mechanisms via which malignancy can be inherited. So the genetic mechanism of malignancy, tumorigenesis. So scleroderma pigmentosa, for example, is an autosomal recessive disorder caused by failure of repair of DNA mechanism, DNA damage by ultraviolet. Is here clear? You have scleroderma pigmentosa. You can also have hereditary non-polyposis colon cancer. Is it clear? So now these are certain genes which have been inherited cancer. You have familial common cancer, like one, you have familial adenomatous polyposis. So these are the common cancer, familial common cancer located with family, like familial syndromes. Is it clear? So you have familial adenomatous polyposis. Is it clear? Resulting into colon cancer. So the gene associated is going to be the APC gene. The gene type is this, and then the chromosomal location is on chromosome 5q21. Now we have also hereditary non-polyposis colonic cancer. Is it clear? It's another form. And hereditary non-polyposis colonic cancer, it has the different symbols here with the different gene type and the different chromosome in which they are found. It's also another familial common cancer. We have familial breast ovarian cancer. The familial breast ovarian cancer is actually with the breast, the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 gene. Is it clear? So we have familial breast ovarian cancer actually with the BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene on these different chromosomes. We have also the Li-Fourmeny syndrome, which is also a familial common cancer, Li-Fourmeny syndrome, which is actually with this gene symbol, with this chromosome. And you have also familial melanoma with this symbol and this chromosome, which is from chromosome 9. Now the cancer syndrome. So we have different cancer syndromes. Now these were the familial common cancers, and then they call the cancer syndrome that you can have. The cancer syndrome can have the basal nervous syndrome, which is inherited, multiple endocrine neoplasm inherited 1 and 2. So you have neurofibromatosis type 1, which is inherited, and monofibromatosis type 2. You have retinoblastoma, tuberous sclerosis type 1 and type 2 inherited, von Hippel-Lindau syndrome inherited, with renal cell carcinoma. You have Wills tumor and you have tylosis. So all these are involved. So now these are examples of proto-oncogenes. So genes that can give the ability of a cell to proliferate excessively are called proto-oncogenes. Is it clear? You have molecular abnormalities here and you have disorders. So if you have a proto-oncogene like the MIC, you have molecular abnormalities going to be translocation of 8q24 example. So if you have translocation of 8q24 chromosome, and then it can result you to a Burkitt's lymphoma. If you have the proto-oncogene ABL is actually with translocation 9q34 and it's going to cause chronic myeloid leukemia. So all these are disorders which can be associated with the different molecular abnormalities and the proto-oncogenes located with this. So here the molecular abnormality can just be because of the DNA. The mechanism here with molecular abnormality is DNA damage and non-repair. So this abnormality here is DNA damage and non-repair, and this abnormality here is because of the proto-oncogene. Is it clear? So those are the different things involved here. Now the next one here is a family with autosomal dominant hereditary non-polyposis colon cancer. So non-polyposis colon cancer, you can just see here. So what are the chromosomal abnormalities in malignancy? So there are certain chromosomal, not only genetic abnormalities like those four we have seen it. Now we can have also chromosomal abnormality in case of malignancy. Is it clear? The first case is a Philadelphia chromosome. Is it clear? So for Philadelphia chromosome is actually a Philadelphia chromosome is a Robertsonian translocation between chromosome 9 and chromosome 22. So the 9 and 22 are fused together in a Robertsonian translocation. So you have 9-22 translocation, and this predisposes you to have chronic myeloid leukemia. Is it clear? So that association can predispose you to have chronic myeloid leukemia. So 90% of the translocation occur in patients with chronic myeloid leukemia, Philadelphia chromosome. Now, Burkitt's lymphoma. Burkitt's lymphoma usually is because of Epstein-Barr virus, and we said that Epstein-Barr virus, different viruses can come with viral oncogene, which can cause the proliferation of cells. Is it clear? Now, you can also realize that while Burkitt lymphomas, which are also affected with that Epstein-Barr virus, they also carry a translocation, 814 translocation, or they may also carry 28 translocation, or they may also carry 822 translocation. It can be 814 translocation, 28 or 822 translocation. Those are the different translocations. As you can also see here, we have spoke about the translocation of the chromosome 8. It is mostly the chromosome 8 involved with Burkitt's lymphoma. You see here, they can be translocated from chromosome 8 for in Burkitt's lymphoma, can be translocated from chromosome 8 to 14, can be translocated from chromosome 8 to 2, and can be translocated from chromosome 8 to 22. So those are the different cases. So what are the inherited forms of common cancer? We said the types of tumor inherited cancers in family. We have BRCA1 gene, as you have seen that table above, which can be inherited for breast cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, bowel cancer, BRCA1 gene. BRCA2 gene, we have breast cancer, ovarian cancer, stomach, pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, thyroid cancer, Hodgkin lymphoma, gallbladder, and all that. And hereditary non-polyposis colonic cancer, you have colon cancer, endometrium, upper ureter or renal, pelvis, ovaries, stomach, esophagus, small bowel, pancreas, and all this. So mostly the colon, hereditary non-polyposis colonic cancer. So this is a pedigree involving patients with breast cancers, and then in that same family you still also have ovarian cancer. You have the family with breast cancer, and that family, the inheritance pattern is autosomal dominant fashion. Is it clear? So the inheritance pattern is autosomal dominant fashion of breast cancer, and also have children here with ovarian cancer. This is actually with either BRCA1 gene or BRCA2 gene. So all this now is based now on the methodology of clinical genetics. So I'm not going to speak about why the guidelines for the referral of regional genetics services. So you can, if you want to know why you want to refer now from a normal surgical unit now to a genetic service. In breast cancer, you must have all these features. In ovarian cancer, you must have all these features. In bowel cancer, you must have all these features. Now, what are inherited cancer syndrome? As you have seen, you have multiple polyposis syndrome. It's a familial adenomatous polyposis and follow autosomal dominant pattern inheritance. Is it clear? So this is a pigmentation, the Page-Jeger syndrome, and Page-Jeger syndrome, it is detected because of mutation in the serine threonine protein kinase gene. And in Page-Jeger syndrome, you have hematomas in the gastrointestinal, resulting to gastrointestinal polyps. Is it clear? So this is another syndrome. So these are the different inherited cancer syndrome. The first one is multiple polyposis syndrome. Is it clear? Multiple polyposis syndrome, where you have multiple polyps at the familial adenomatous polyposis is autosomal dominant. You have multiple polyps at the level of the colon. That's multiple polyposis syndrome. Now, Page-Jeger syndrome, you have hematoma polyps at the level of the gastrointestinal tract that may bleed and also cause intussusception with the pigmentation of the lips. So that's the syndrome as stated here. The syndrome of the multiple polyposis, you have epidermoid cyst, extracolonic manifestation like you have excessive polyps at the level of the colon. You have extra. You also have the Gardner phenotype, like extracorporeal manifestation including osteoma, epidermolysis, upper limb gastrointestinal polyps, adenocarcinoma, and all that. Now, the next one is leaf hominid syndrome. The leaf hominid syndrome is dominantly inherited cancer and caused by constitutional mutation of the TP53 gene. So that is, this is also the BRCA1 gene and also BRCA2 gene. So the leaf hominid syndrome consists of adenocortical carcinoma, lymphoma, lung adenocancer, lung melanoma, gonadal gene cells tumor, and all these tumors. So they are excessive of the tumor because of the mutation at the level of the CHK2 gene and the level of the TP53 gene. The next syndrome here, you have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome. Multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome is divided into two. We have men type 1 and men type 2. Even men type 3. Men type 1 has parathyroid tumors. So he has parathyroid tumors, he has anterior pituitary tumors, he has pancreatic tumors. Parathyroid tumors in 95% of cases, pancreatic islet tumor in 40% of cases, and then adenomatous anterior pituitary tumor in 30% of cases. So it's islet tumors, it may produce excess of insulin. Now the men type 2, we have medullary thyroid tumors. So the thyroid tumors is medullary thyroid tumors. You can have excess thyroxine men, so in 99% of cases, pheochromocytoma in 50% of cases, and parathyroid tumors in 60% of cases. And then men type 3, we have other things like pituitary tumors, medullary thyroid tumors. We have marfanoid or Scandinavian habitus, and also have islet of pancreatic islet tumors. Those are the different tumors, and pheochromocytoma. Sorry, those are the 4 things that you have in men type 3. All these are hereditary syndromes. Now, von Hippel-Lindau syndrome. So in von Hippel, you have mostly hemangioblastoma that develop throughout the brain and the spinal cord. That's the first thing in the syndrome. Then you have also renal, hepatic, and pancreatic cyst, and you can have also a clear cell carcinoma of the kidney. Is it clear? Now we have nevus, the basal nevus carcinoma. So the nevus, the nevoid basal carcinoma is mostly a cancer at the level of the, because of the nevus. Because you need to know that the nevus are divided into 3. We have the first nevus, which is epidermal nevus, the second is junctional nevus, and the third one is complex nevus. Epidermal nevus, the nevus is located at the epidermis, junction is located both at the junction of the epidermis and the dermis, and then the mix is both of them. Is it clear? So those are the different nevus that you have. Now, junctional nevus is the one that can easily become malignant. Is it clear? The gene affected with the nevus is the Gorlin syndrome gene, because in nevus we mostly have the Gorlin syndrome. Is it clear? The Gorlin syndrome, where you have jaw cysts, you have various skeletal abnormalities like the bifid rib and all that. So it's the PTCH gene. The next one is neurofibromatosis. Neurofibromatosis type 1, consisting of peripheral neurofibromatosis or von Recklinghausen disease. So those are other names. And neurofibromatosis type 2 is a central neurofibromatosis. Type 1 is what is called von Recklinghausen disease, while type 2 is only the central neurofibromatosis. So they are described already, they were already described before. So in order for you to know better on that, just go in the last chapters. Now, on tuberous sclerosis, I've said that this is one of the genetic diseases that affect all the system. It's autosomal dominant disease, and it's very variable in its manifestation, with pleiotropism, many systems affected with which are unrelated to each other. So you can have hematomas in the brain, in the kidney, in the heart, and all that. So excessive growth all through the body. It is because of tuberous sclerosis gene 1 and gene 2 on chromosome 9 and 16 respectively. So now the childhood tumors, you can have the first childhood tumor, which is retinoblastoma. 60% of retinoblastoma are sporadic and unilateral. It means that there is no, when they say sporadic, there is no clear pattern in the development of retinoblastoma, because it has a very high variation and penetrance. Is it clear? So 40% being hereditary and usually bilateral. Is it clear? 60% is sporadic, so they can occur in an unclear pattern. 40% is hereditary and sporadic and unilateral, while 40% is hereditary with a clear pattern and it is bilateral. Now, hereditary retinoblastoma follow an autosomal dominant pattern of inheritance with incomplete penetrance. So he has an incomplete penetrance. So about 8 to 9% of children inherit the abnormal gene will develop retinoblastoma. 80 to 90% having the abnormal gene will develop retinoblastoma. That is why they have a very high low penetrance. So tumor may occasionally be spontaneously leaving the retinal scars and resulting to blindness. So it is because of a deletion at the level of chromosome 13 that you have this disorder. Is it clear? Now, Wilms tumor is another tumor in neonates, and it is most common solid tumors in childhood, occurring 1 in 10,000 children. That's Wilms tumor, usually unilateral, and the vast majority are sporadic. About 1% of Wilms tumor is hereditary, and this about 20% are bilateral. Is it clear? Most of them is sporadic, meaning that they are not transmitted by genetic interaction. It can be from other forms like congenital malformations. It can be from maternal drug abuse and all that. It can be from other forms that's sporadic, not having any clinical genetic pattern of probability. That's one. So most of the percentages, 99% of Wilms tumor is sporadic, but 1% is genetic, is hereditary, and usually bilateral. When it's sporadic, it is unilateral. Is it clear? So from here we have finished with all the tutorials with the tutorial involved with all the tumor genetics and the relation with cancer. So thanks for your kind attention. Don't forget to like and subscribe for our channel.